dear children. Hope you guys are doing safe and healthy at home with your families. Yes, because of this pandemic COVID-19, we are unable to meet. Yes, but how come I let my students lagging behind? So I am here for you with a very important lesson of yours. Yes, so today in this session, we are going to discuss a very important lesson of science. But before beginning, I have a small question for you. A very interesting question for you. Okay. Name a thing. Okay. Name a thing which can breathe like us but cannot move. Yes, once again I am repeating the question. Name a thing which can breathe like us but cannot move. Come on, tell me what is that thing? I know you all are right. It's plant. Yes, plants can breathe like us but cannot move. Yes, so in this session, we are going to discuss more information about plants. Already in your previous class, you have read about the differentiation between living things and non-living things, the different parts of the plant, the various tape roots, the fibrous root, everything you have discussed in your previous class. And you have already differentiated the living things and non-living things. Among it, one important differentiation you might have read it, that plants or living things can reproduce and non-living things cannot reproduce. Yes, you have read it or not? Yes, living things can reproduce and non-living things cannot reproduce. Yes. So today in this session, we are going to discuss about how reproduction takes place in case of your plants. How plants reproduce. Yes. So what is our topic? Plants reproduction. So what is the topic? Plants reproduction, guys. So we are going to discuss how plants reproduce. So you might be wondering, yes, what means you always thought there are so many increased number of plants, there are so many increased number of a particular animals, or there are so many increased number of humans. Why? How do we get so many increased number of a particular species? You might be wondering how this happens. This all because of reproduction. Yes, it's all because of your reproduction. We are getting an increased number of a particular species. Since living organisms have a very short lifespan, one day or other day we have to die, but our race should continue, our species should continue. So that's why comes the reproduction. Yes, reproduction helps in improving the number of living organisms of the same kind. Yes, plants. So in this plant reproduction, we will be dealing how plants produces its own kind by the process of reproduction. Yes, so what is plant reproduction? Means the process of production of living organisms of the same kind is called as your reproduction. What is reproduction? The process of production of living organisms of their kind. Means plants will produce plants, human beings will produce humans, cat will produce cats of particular kind, of their kind. The process of production of living organisms of their own kind. Yes, that is called as your reproduction. And why reproduction is necessary? To continue their species. Yes, to continue the plant species, to continue the animal species, reproduction is very important. Yes, so here we will be discussing only about reproduction in plants. Then how plants reproduce? Come on, tell me how plants reproduce. There are nearly 3 to 4 different ways by which plants reproduce. Yes, there are 3 to 4 different, means plants reproduce by seeds, plants reproduces by stem, Plants reproduces by leaves and plants reproduces by spores. Yes, once again, what is reproduction means? The process of production of living organisms of the same kind to continue the species is called as reproduction. Yes, second, plants reproduces by seeds, by stem, by leaves and by spores. Yes, so one by one we will be discussing. First one, reproduction by seeds. How plants increase in number or how plants reproduces by seeds. So first let me know what is seed. How will you define seeds? Yes, seed is actually an embryonic plant. So what do you mean by this embryonic plant? Embryonic plant means a sign is there, a small part or small bird. A small bird is there which will further develop into root, stem and leaves. Yes, seed is what? It's an embryonic plant. What is seed? Seed is an embryonic plant. Then what is embryonic plant? You might have discussed or thought about it. What is embryonic plant? Yes, seed is an embryonic plant. Embryonic plant is a part of a seed. Part of a seed which will further develops into root, stem and leaves. Yes, so what is your seed? Seed is an embryonic plant. Part of a seed contains earliest form of plant's root, stem and leaves, which is covered, which is enclosed in an outer covering, and that outer covering is called as your seed coat or testa. Yes. So how do plants reproduces? The first one is your by seeds. Yes. Then what is seed? Seed is an embryonic plant. Remember, seed is an embryonic plant. Then what is embryonic plants? It's a part of seed which have the earliest signs of your root, stem and leaves. Means a small part which is going to develop into root, stem and leaves further. Yes, embryonic plant means, what is embryonic plant? A part of seed which contains earliest form of plant's root, stem and leaves, which will develop into root, stem and leaves. What is seed? Seed is an embryonic plants. Yes. And where is seed present? Seed is enclosed by an outer covering, and that outer covering is called as your seed coat or testa. T-E-S-T-A. The outer covering of the seed is called seed coat. Yes, what it is called? Seed coat. The first thing what you have to remember is, yes, how do plant reproduce? Plant reproduces by seed. What is seed? Seed is an embryonic plant. What is embryonic plant? A part of seed which will further develop into your root, stem and leaves. And where is seed present? Seed is enclosed by an outer covering, and that outer covering is called as your seed coat. Or the scientific name we can say is testa. T-E-S-T-A. Understood now? So reproduction of seed is an embryonic plant which is a part of a seed which contains the earliest form of your plant's root, stem and leaves, which is enclosed by a covering called seed cloud. And inside that what happened now? Store food are there. Seed is there. Yes, only seed is there. Inside that seed, endosperm is present. What is endosperm? It helps in the storage of the food material which is utilized by the seed to develop into a plant until photosynthesis starts. Understood? Here some scientific terms are there, just like your embryonic plant. Once again I am telling you students, what is embryonic plants? It's a part of the seed which will further develop into your root, stem and leaves. Yes, and the seed is covered by an outer covering that is called as your seed coat or testa. T-E-S-T-A. And inside the seed, what is present? Endosperm. What is endosperm? It helps in the stored food. It has stored food which helps in the development of the seed into a plant until and unless photosynthesis starts. Yes? What is endosperm? Stored food. Yes? Until the photosynthesis starts. Understood? Until this, you have to remember what is reproduction. Yes? Once again, I am telling you what is reproduction. The process by which a living organism produces its own kind to continue their species. Plants reproduces by seed, stem, leaves and spore. Yes, what is seed? Seed is an embryonic plant. What is an embryonic plant then? It's a part of the seed which will further develop into a root, stem and leaves. And inside the seed, endosperm is there which stores food which is utilized by the seeds until and unless the photosynthesis starts. Yes, up to this you have understood. Now, seed. So now you can understood how seed is important for us. You might have been thinking now seed is useless. We will eat the fruit and throw the seeds. Now you understood why seeds are important. Why? Because it helps in increasing the number of plants. Yes? Now we have to know what is the structure of the seed. Yes, you all have seen the seeds. Yes, what is the structure of the seeds? So seed structure has got two parts, an external parts and an internal parts. Yes, here you can see. Here you can see the structure of the seed. So it has got an external covering. Understood? I have told you that external covering, what it is called? It's called as your, what it is called? Seed coat or testa. Structure of seed, two types. Internal structure and external structure. External has got another two parts. That is your seed coat. And what is the other name of seed coat I told you? Testa. Yes. The structure of seed has two parts. That is your external and internal. External has got two parts. Seed coat means the seed is enclosed by a covering. That is called as your seed coat or testa, which is the outer covering. And the second external part of the seed is called helium. What is helium? H-I-L-U-M. What is helium? What is helium? Yes. Have you observed the seed? A small mark is present. Yes. What is that mark? What is that sign? What is that scar on the seed? Yes. What is that scar? The scar on the seed shows that it has been attached to the parent plant. Yes, understood. External and internal. External again has two parts. Outer covering which is called as your seed coat and another one is your helium. H-I-L-U-M. What is helium? What is helium? A scar. You might have observed it in the seeds. Yes, you just go and check the seeds whether some scars are present or not. And that scar denotes that it has an attachment with the parent plant. These two structure comes under your external and internal. Internal means inside of the seed which we call as embryo. Yes, the internal structure of the seed which is called as embryo and it has got three important parts. External two. What is it? Testa and helium. Internal three parts are there. What is that three parts? Cotyledons. C-O-T-Y-L-E-D-O-N. Cotyledons. Plumule. P-L-U-M-U-L-E. Plumule. And the third one is your radicle. What is radicle? Yes. Internal structure of the seed which we called as embryo are divided into three main parts. What are that three main parts, children? What are the three main parts? Yes, the first one is your cotyledons. The first one is your cotyledons. What are cotyledons? The first leaves that will germinate. Yes, these are the first leaf which will turn into a big leaf. The first leaf that will germinate. Yes, what are cotyledons means? Have you observed in a seedling? Okay, you do one thing. You just soak some seeds, your moong dal, yes, and just after soaking it, you just tie some of the gram in a wet handkerchief and put it outside. In the morning or after 2 to 3 days, you will see the seed germination. You will see small roots coming out from the seed. You can see small stems coming out of it. You can go and do at home. Yes, please go and do it at home and let me know how was your plant, small baby plant, how was your seedlings. Yes, so the internal structure of the seed, which we call as embryo, has got how many parts? 3. First one, cotyledons. What are cotyledons? The first leaf, the first it will germinate into a leaf. Yes, the first embryonic leaf which will germinate into leaf. And some seeds have got one embryonic leaf. How many embryonic leaves some seeds have? One embryonic leaf, and these are called as monocotyledons. What it is called? Monocotyledons. The seeds bearing only one embryonic leaf is called as your monocotyledons, and the seed bearing 2 embryonic leaves are called as your dicotyledons. What it is called? Dicotyledons. Understood? Yes. Once again, external. How many parts, children? 2. First one, the outer covering of the seed. What it is called? What it is called? The outer covering of the seed? Seed coat. And another important name, testa. Yes. And the second part is your helium. H-I-L-U-M. What is helium? Scar. What does that scar show? It has an attachment with the parent plant. Now the internal structure of the seed. What do we call to the internal structure of the seed? Embryo. How many parts does it have? 3 parts. What is it? First one, cotyledons. What is cotyledons? The first embryonic leaf which will germinate. If a seed having one embryonic leaf, it is called as monocotyledons. And if a seed is having 2 embryonic leaf, it is called as your dicotyledons. Understood what is cotyledons? The second internal structure is your plumule. P-L-U-M-U-L-E. Can you say it? Plumule. P-L-U-M-U-L-E. What is plumule? What is plumule? Actually, the plumule develops into shoot. What is plumule means? The plumule will develops into a shoot. Yes, and this plumule is again divided into 2 parts. Hypocotyle and epicotyle. Yes, like cotyledons has 2 types now, monocotyledons and dicotyledons. The plumule which will further develop into the shoot is again of your 2 types. What are the 2 types? Your epicotyle and hypocotyle. E-P-I-C-O-T-Y-L. Epicotyle. Yes, plumule is divided into how many types? Epicotyle and hypocotyle. Epicotyle means what? Epicotyle means what? The tip of the plumule. The first part of the plumule. Suppose this is your plumule. Yes, the tip part of the plumule is called as your epicotyle. Yes, the tip part of the plumule is called epicotyle and the base of the plumule is called hypocotyle. Understood? Suppose this is one is your plumule. The tip part is called as your epicotyle and the base part is called as your hypocotyle. Understood? The internal structure embryo. First one cotyledons, second one plumule, and the third one is radicle. R-A-D-I-C-L-E. Radicle. What is radicle? The part of the seed which will develop into a root. Yes. And the part of the seed which will develop into a stem is called plumule. And the part of the seed which will grow into a root are called radicle. Understood, my dear children? Shall I repeat once more? Okay, for you. So, structure of seed has got how many types? External structure of the seed and internal structure of the seed. External structure of the seed, how many types? Seed coat, which we can call testa. What is testa? The outer covering of the seed. And second one, helium. What is helium? What is helium? It's a scar which shows it has the attachment with the parent. So this is about the external part. Next enters into the internal part. It's called as embryo. And how many parts it has? 3. Cotyledons, plumule and radicles. Cotyledons means what? The first embryonic leaf which will germinate. If a seed contains only one embryonic leaf, what it is called? Monocotyledons. If 2 embryonic leaves are present, it is called as dicotyledons. Yes, children. Then plumule. What is plumule? The part of the seed which will develop into shoot, and the part of the seed which will develop into root is called radicle. Plumule is divided into hypocotyle and epicotyle, and epi means apex region. Yes, it's in tip part. The tip part of the plumule is called as epicotyle, and the base part of the plumule is called as your hypocotyle. I hope you are understanding, my dear children. Yes, these are the different parts of the seed, or this is the structure of the seed. I have told you the structure of the seed, but I didn't told you how reproduction takes place by the help of seeds. I just informed you about the structure. What is the structure? How it looks like? What is the internal structure of the seed? But I didn't mention how your reproduction takes place by seed. And I know you all know that. What is that process called? What is that process by which the seeds germinate into a new plant? Yes, you all are right. It's called germination. Yes, it's called as your germination. What is germination? The process of the growth of the seeds into a new plant is called as your germination. You might have read in your previous classes. Yes, so what is germination? The process of the growth of the seeds into a new plant is called as your germination, but under favorable conditions. Okay, now you know what is germination. I told you to do one activity now. Soak the seeds and tie it in a handkerchief and put it outside, sprinkle some water. In the few days you will observe the sprouts, and that is very healthy, my dear children. Have it. Yes, it will make you strong. So try this activity at your home and do let me know. So that is what germination actually. So what is germination means? The process of the growth of seeds into a new plant. When the seeds develops into a new plant, then it is called as germination, but under favorable condition. What is favorable condition? Means seeds also require nutrients, seeds also requires water, seeds also requires air, seeds also require oxygen, sunlight to germinate. That is what the favorable conditions. So when these favorable conditions are good enough, then definitely your seeds will grow and germinate into a new plant. Yes, my dear children. So the process of the growth of a seed, into a new plant is called germination under favorable conditions. Favorable condition means water, air, sunlight, nutrients should be available. Then only your seeds will germinate. Okay. Then what is the germination steps? What you will do? Generally what we do? We used to sow the seed in the soil or not. Let's do it. In these holidays, children, please do it. Click the photographs and send it to me. Yes, I will be waiting for the photos of germination and sowing of the seeds. Yes? Okay. So germination is the process of growth of the seeds into a new plants under favorable condition. And what are that favorable condition, my dear children? The favorable conditions are air, sunlight, nutrients and water. So what are the steps? The first, what you will do? You will take a seed and you will sow it in the soil. Then what you will do? You will pour water regularly or not? Yes, you will pour regularly water, and when that seed will receive plenty of water, the seed will swell in size. When the seed sown in the soil will receive plenty or enough water, then the seed will absorb the water and swells in size and bursts and splits. And From there comes the small germinated baby plant. Yes, my dear children. So first step is your, when water is plentiful, the seed is filling with water and the seed will swell inside and split, and that is called as your imbibition. What it is called? The process by which the seeds are filled with water, swell in size, is called as your imbibition. 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 What is imbibition? The process by which the seeds fill in with water, swells in size and splits and grows into starts developing is called as imbibition. And this is the first step of germination. What is the second step? What is the second step? Now, seeds grows into root by taking water from the, you have already poured the water. By using that water, the seeds develops the root. And which part of the seeds develops into root? Which part? I told you, radicle. Yes. So by absorbing the water from the soil, the seed will develop the roots in the second step. Third step, seeds grow shoots towards the sun. We know that. Roots towards the soil and shoots towards the sun. Yes. And which part of the seed will develop into your shoot? Plumule. I told you plumule, right? So the third step is the part of the seeds grow shoot towards the sun. This is the third step. Fourth step is finally the shoots will develop. Your leaves, your fruits, flowers, everything will start developing. Yes. So how many steps are there? Germination. The process of growth of seeds into a new plant is called germination under favorable condition. First step, when water is plentiful, the seed is filled in with water, swells in size, and that is called imbibition. Second step, it will receive water from the soil and the seed will grow into roots. And the third step, the seeds will grow shoot towards the sun, and final step, all the leaves, flowers, fruits will go on developing. This is what the process of your germination. Yes. Now you understood about the structure of the seeds, how germination states, how reproduction takes place in plants by the process of your seeds. Yes, by the help of the seeds. But every time it's not possible. Now we are going to sow the seeds and we will plant number of trees. Yes. Yes. Have you ever wondered? Another thing. Have you ever wondered that if all the seeds are overcrowded, are very near to each other, then what would happen? Yes. Think, if all the seeds are very near to each other, are overcrowded, all the seeds are overcrowded, then eventually what will happen? Yes, it will die. The plant will die. Why? Because there is not enough place. There is not enough space for the seeds to develop. There is no enough space so that they can utilize the nutrients. They can get enough water. They cannot get enough sunlight. Yes. So if the seeds are overcrowded, then definitely it is going to die because they are not going to utilize enough sunlight, enough water, enough nutrient. And hence nature has developed a mechanism by which it can produce into a new plant by self. That is called as your seed dispersal. That is called as your seed dispersal. Seed dispersal means the scattering of the seeds away from the parent plants. Understood? So when all the seeds are very near to each other, very close to each other. Yes. Even in your class, when you sit very close to one another and it's summer season, we don't get enough air or not. Yes. So in the same way, if the seeds are very close to one another, they don't get enough space to get enough sunlight, water, minerals. And hence, nature has developed a mechanism, and that mechanism is called as your seed dispersal. What is seed dispersal? The scattering of the seeds away from the parent plants. Means seeds will scatter away from the parent plant. So that is called as your seed dispersal. The scattering of the seeds away from the parent plant is called as your seed dispersal. And it occurs by 4 ways, my children. Yes, by explosion, by wind, Yes, by explosion, by wind, by water and by animals. So what is dispersal? Seed dispersal. What is it? The scattering of the seeds away from the parent plant is called as your seed dispersal. How many ways? By how many ways the seeds get dispersed? How many ways? 4. What are those? By explosion, by wind, by water and by animals. By these 4 ways they get separated, they get dispersed away from their parent plants. Okay. So first one, by explosion. You all have observed peas, mutton, yes, peas or soya bean. Peas, your soya bean, yes, the seeds are present inside a pod or not? Yes or no? And this type of pea, beans and soya bean, they all scattered the seeds by the help of process called explosion, by seed explosion. What happens now? When they receive the sunlight, the leaves, the pod becomes dries up. Yes, for example, in your pea plant, yes, heat is there, sun is there, and what happened now, that pod will become gradually dries up, and a day will come, it will split in the middle of the pod and the seeds will scattered by a big explosion. In the same case happens in case of your beans and soya beans also. So, by the process of your explosion, what happened? When a pea pod or soya bean receives the sunlight, the pod becomes dries up and spits automatically and scattered the seeds by the explosion. And hence the seed dispersed by the method of your explosion, by explosion. How the seed dispersed? By explosion. By wind. The second one is seed dispersal by wind. Yes. So, for example, dandelion and tecoma, and you can take the example of cotton. Yes, you have seen the outside of the seed has some white hair-like outgrowths. It's very light, and these seeds, the dandelion seeds and tecoma seeds, are very lightweight. Very lightweight. Yes, the dandelion seeds and tecoma seeds are very lightweight. They can easily move in the air. Yes, the seeds of dandelion has hair-like outgrowth. The seed, just you have observed the cotton seeds now. The outside the seed you can see white hair-like outgrowth. It can move in the air. In the same way, the dandelion seeds have the outgrowths. Yes, which acts as a parachute so that they can move in the air. They can remain in the air for a long time. And finally, they are scattered long distance away from the parent. And that is in case of your dandelion. And tecoma, what happened? They have like winged-like seeds. Means they can easily fly in the air, will stay in the air and finally get dispersed long away from the parent seeds. Yes, so this is all because that they are very lightweight. The seeds of dandelion, tecoma, your cotton, they are very lightweight. The milkweed, their seeds are very lightweight. They can stay in the air and then get dispersed. So first by your explosion, second by wind, and the third one there in the above by water. Next, dispersion of the seeds by water. How water helps in seed dispersal. You all know about lotus. You all know about coconut. Yes, they reproduce by dispersion through water. You have observed coconut. You have observed the outer covering of the coconut. It's very flexible or not? Yes, it's tough but flexible. Fibrous. Yes, the outer covering of the coconut is very fibrous and which helps them to float in the water. And hence they are carried by the water to the long distance. So in case of your coconut plant, the coconut outer covering is very fibrous which helps them to float in water and reach far distance away from the plant, and there they can reproduce and grows into a new plant. Yes, in the same in case of your lotus, and the lotus reproduction takes place by lotus fruits. So the seeds which are present in the lotus fruits will move and they are very light. Yes, So in case of your lotus, what happened? The fruit are very light and spongy. So they are carried along with the water to distant places and there they reproduce. So hence dispersion by water takes place in case of your coconut, in case of lotus, because lotus seeds are very light and spongy. Yes. And the final one, the scattering of the seeds or the seed dispersal by your animals. So animals also loves to eat fruit. They eat oranges, fig. Yes, oranges, your fig, your strawberries. They ate all the fruits, but they are unable to digest the seeds, my dear children. Yes, the animals which eat fruits like these figs and oranges and all, and you know they have seeds inside it. These animals cannot digest the seeds. Yes, and hence the seeds comes out of their body along with their feces, along with their stool, my dear children. Yes, and you know, animals cannot stay in a proper place. They keep on roaming and roaming and roaming. So wherever they roam, they dump their feces and there what happened? Their excreta is there, and from their excreta what happened? Germination takes place because inside that the seeds are there. Yes, germination takes place and new plants develop. Hence by animals also your seed dispersion takes place. How do the seed dispersion takes place? The scattering of seeds takes place by explosion piece. By the sun heat, it will split and explode and the seeds will scatter. Yes, by wind, dandelion, tecoma, cotton, all these are very light and spongy, so they will stay in the air and finally scatter to the long distance. Dandelion seeds have parachute-like, hair-like outgrowths and wing-like structures in tecoma. And by water, lotus and coconut. Coconut has got very fibrous tough covering which helps them to float and hence they will move distance away. And finally lotus, your lotus seeds are very light and spongy, hence they are carried away by the water and to another places where the seed germination takes place and finally develops into a new plants. Animals, they eat the fruits, cannot digest the seeds and they excrete, and in their excrete the seeds are present and hence they keep on roaming. So wherever their excretor is there, the seeds will germinate. So these are the various processes by which the germination of seeds takes place and hence the reproduction in plants takes place, my dear children. So these are all about your reproduction in plants by seeds. The next method by which reproduction in plants takes place is by stem. You might have observed and you have done it, my dear. So stem, reproduction by stem. You might have cut the stem of might have cut the stem of rose plant. Yes, and place it in another pot. And you might have observed that it has developed its root, stem and leaves and new flowers have been developed. It's all because of the stem. Yes, so some of the plants, some of the like your sugar cane, like your rose, like your potato, they all reproduces by stem. You have observed your potato. In the outer covering of the potato, you might have observed some black colored birds in it. That birds are called eyes. Yes, potato has got birds over it. That birds are called eyes. And if you are going to cut 4 pieces of your potato and going to show it, yes, then definitely it will germinate and develop and grow into a new potato plant. Hence, the plants reproduces by stem. Like your potato, your rose stem, you are going to cut it and show it, then new rose plant will come. In the same way, sugarcane. And so many plants are there which reproduces by stem. Yes. So the second one over. The third one is reproduction by roots. Your beetroot, your carrot, your turnip. How do they reproduce? How do they grow? Because of roots. Yes. Like carrots, your turnip, your radish. All these grow and reproduces by roots. Yes, when you are taking a carrot, in the back side of the carrot you observe some green-like structure. If you are going to show it now, roots will develop and it will develop into a new plant. Yes, some of the plants will grow by the reproduces by roots. And the final one, yes, reproduction by spores. Spores, my dear children. It's mainly occur in mushrooms. That is, mushroom is a type of fungi. Yes, mushroom is a type of fungi. So what happens now? Okay, take a bread. Okay, take 2 slices of bread, make it wet and keep it inside a cupboard for 5 to 6 days. After 6th day, when you are going to observe that bread, what you are going to observe it? What you are going to observe? You will see fungus or not. Some white color or blackish like powdery substance are present on the bread. That is the fungus. Yes, and that fungus has spores in it. Yes, spores, white color spores are there. And hence that spores, if they are shifted to some other places where the environment is suitable, there they will develop into a new mushroom or new fungus. That is by the reproduction by what? Spores. Yes. So spores are just white like structure. Yes. And mostly seen in rotten things. And when they are shifted through favorable condition, they will develop into a new plants. So how many types reproduction takes place in how many types? By seeds. Yes, by stem, by roots and by spores. Seeds, you have to study about the structure of seed, what is seed germination, what is seed dispersal. All these have to understand it properly. And the reproduction by stem, roots and spores. Hope, my dear children, you all are understanding this concept. Please, once go through your book, revise the topic, make the notes and study at home along with your parents, my dear children. And do utilize this pandemic situation. Yes, staying at home, you can study and involve in other activities. Okay, meet you soon.